Hello everyone, welcome back to Scylla's Pocats, or welcome to Scylla's Pocats, and welcome to a video I didn't even know I was going to make right now, because I didn't expect these books until February at the very least. So apparently my read to bought ratio for January is going to be off, but in all fairness, these are my February budget books, so there shouldn't be that many more books coming in February, unless some pre-orders decide to randomly come out in February too. Anyway, so let's all wind back the clocks and the memory a little bit to the point, I think the very first video or something of this year that I dropped, where I said that I was going to set myself a actual spending budget for the books that I want to buy in 2026, for the books that I want to purchase, so to speak. The budget is €100 a month. I can do pretty much whatever I want to. I can spend it all in one go. I can buy several books over the course of the year, month that is. I can make sure that I only get really cheap copies or something, and I can also spend it on 2 really pretty editions of something. It doesn't matter what. €100 is the spending limit. So far I haven't calculated Illumicrate into that, so that is a separate cost that's running in the background, because that is usually 1 or a maximum of 2 books per month, depending on how many of the boxes that I get, and so far I'm able to easily accommodate that with the money that I have. Because one of the reasons I have the spending limit for myself is because I don't want that many unread books on my TBR. So they stare at me all the time and make me feel guilty. Anyway, so, it is currently the last day of January, so we all know that I spent these €100, because that is, in fact, the box that I have here. It's pretty much 100. I think I got it almost on the dot. The reason I spent that in January already instead of going into February is because this entire box is filled with books from a very small indie publisher situated in Austria, publishing German-speaking fantasy, dystopia, sci-fi, just about anything that falls into speculative fiction, really, I think. I think there's a couple of steampunk stuff in here as well. Like, it's exciting. It's exciting is what it is. It's 100% up my alley. And unfortunately, the publisher, which they're called Ohne Ohren, which translates to without ears. Listen, it's adorable is what it is. And unfortunately they are going to have to close business this year in October, I believe. I am very sad about this because the German publishing market is atrocious, specifically when it comes to these genres, so speculative fiction, but even worse so when it comes to indie authors, when it comes to self-published authors, just about anyone. And there's a couple of reasons for that, I'm pretty sure, and there's probably even more that I don't know about. I'm by no means a professional, I'm just someone who's really mad about this every now and again. So while I unbox these, I'm gonna rant about this for a hot minute. But the reason, and this is coming back to the whole spending thing, the reason I bought these books in January already and basically told myself this is my February budget and now I don't get to buy any more books in February is because I was worried that some of these copies were gonna run out. On their website you can sometimes see how many more copies they have of something available, and considering that they're gonna close down in October, I'm pretty certain they're not gonna get any new ones of these books. Because why would they put that into print, right? Like, why would they spend money on that? And so I was like, listen, I have figured out some books I really want to have that fit into my budget of €100. I'm gonna get all of them now, before they're gone. So, without any more ado, here is a box of €100 of indie published German fantasy, sci-fi, and so on and so forth. We're just gonna get right into it. I ripped it open somewhere, and I think I did it wrong. The carton is very weirdly constructed, and that's okay. So let me just see how I can best do this. I think I'm just gonna go for it. So some of these are also like wrapped individually, which is really, really adorable. Look at that. This is some sort of recipe as well. I'm a little bit confused, but I'm gonna try and keep it in shape because I don't want to I don't want to rip it. I love this about smaller publishers is they usually they have such a nice way. There we go. They have such a nice way of dealing with their books. Okay. So this is Destruktion, or Destruction, I suppose, by Faye Hell. This is, according to the website, this is their most dystopian-esque novel. I don't know what this is gonna be about. I don't know a whole lot about the books that I got myself. Because why would I why would I know anything about that? Ooh, I got a bookmark too though. Look how cute. Oh my god, I love it. That is so cute. Okay. Anyway. Right, so this is Destruktion, Destruction. There's content notes in the back of the book. A lot of their books from this particular publisher have content notes either at the beginning, at the back. Some even have content notes for individual chapters. They do a really great job with this particular thing, and I'm super excited about this. I usually don't look at the content notes because I usually don't need them, but I think it's lovely that they're there. So, you know. It's so pretty. Alright. Okay, so let me get the next one out of the box. Oh god. Similar packaging, and also there's a sticker! Come on. Flowers. That's cute. I'm gonna put that aside so I don't lose it. And there's another sticker! It's like a book, I think. Look at that. So cute. Alright. Here's the next one. It's also wrapped really nicely. Alright, let me try and remove that. Okay, so I also promised you a rant. So let me just commence that. First of all, this is Opferreigen. I guess it would translate to like victim dance or something. I'm very unsure. It's by Emil Vogeltanz. Is there also a bookmark? There's also a bookmark! Look at that! That is so cute. This is like, aww. It's a gay bookshelf. That's adorable. I love it. But yeah. So the thing that is really obnoxious and unfortunate about the German publishing market is that, first of all, sci-fi fantasy, anything that has to do with like genre specifications, usually already does worse than anything that is usually what we like to call belletristic. That's kind of like where all novels fall under, so anything that's not nonfiction. And the thing that usually does the best, or that you can see most represented in bookstores and stuff like that, is crime novels, thrillers, anything like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against that, because I think a good thriller can be a lot of fun. I'm personally not the biggest thriller girly, but a lot of people really love it. That's not necessarily the problem that I have. The problem that I have, and I will continue with the books in a hot minute. Ooh, I got another bookmark. It's a duplicate, but I don't care. A huge problem is that a lot of the books you see in bookstores are not from German authors. Point blank period. You see a lot of translations, because we get a ton of books, especially from the English market, but that's not the only one, obviously, but the English market is incredibly overpowering, and so we usually have a ton of translations from various different English-speaking authors, and very few books by actual German authors. And not only is that imbalance happening, but it's even worse the other way around, because most German books do not get picked up by English publishers. German books tend to get translated into, I believe, Russian. Polish is also a language that our books get translated into, and for some reason Chinese, like the Chinese book market, is a really big contender when it comes to translations from German into Chinese. Not sure what that's about. I would have to do more research into that. But English book markets pick up basically no German books. For, like, I looked up some statistics at some point, and it said something along the lines of, like, in 2022, German markets acquired way over 8,000 English books to be translated into German. English publishers picked up 150 German books to be translated into English. And the reason that's such a problem is because the English book market is overpowering just about anything on the market. A lot of other books can only get published and garner some sort of fame and attention within their very specific country where they speak the language. So like, for example, with German books, it's German, it's Austria, and it's part of Switzerland, for example, that, you know, have a German-speaking population. Most other countries don't. And so books that do not get translated from German, or that don't get translated into English, which is then usually able to spread the books a lot faster along the global book market, they do not get any traction outside of countries that either do speak German, or the other few countries that pick up the translation that are not the English market. And the reason this is a problem is because it means that a German author has less chances of making it anywhere big, simply because there is a huge chance that their books are not getting translated into English. And don't even get me started on anything indie, right? Like I said, these are indie books, this is an indie publisher. There is practically no chance of these books ever getting translated into any language, but even more so English, because the English book market really doesn't want German books, for some reason. They really don't. And the reason this is so aggravating to me is because I personally know a couple of indie authors who've chosen to write their books in English because they know it's getting more picked up by a larger readership, because there is a very likely chance that everyone speaks English at least as a second language. That is not so with most other languages on the world, and it is really aggravating because I read a ton of books from the English market. I really do. Some of them are translations into English from languages I don't speak, and the vast majority of them come from actual English-speaking people from English-speaking countries where English is at least an official language, right, in some sort, even if it's just the second official language, for example. And it is really aggravating because every time you try to put that into words, there's a lot of people around here going like, yeah, but like, you know, all English books also don't get picked up. English books also don't garner the, like, attention that they should. And English authors still struggle. And while all of that is true, I need some people to understand that there's a difference between struggling in a large industry because everyone is struggling in the large industry, and struggling because the industry doesn't even pick you up. And that is what's happening to the majority of German authors, barring the, like, select few who make it somewhere. And it is really, it's really aggravating. It really annoys me. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this in the first place, why I wanted to get all of these books, because someone has to, and I understand the language, and maybe someone who watches my videos and also speaks German would like to pick these books up too, and now you know about them, now you've heard about them. So, you know, anyway, it is bleak out here, is what I'm saying. So, book number 3, this is Die Goldene Kanone, The Golden Cannon, by Anne Brenach. This is a sort of detective novel, but it's steampunk vibes, which is what you can kind of see here with the, like, cog coming out of the book, which I think is really nice. And if I remember correctly, there's, like, a bunch of detectives that get invited to, like, oh no, it's people who write detective literature, and they get invited to kind of, like, solve a crime together or something. And the footnote here says, kein Detektivroman, no detective novel, but in German, when you want to say kein, which is spelled K-E-I-N, that's no, or none, right? If you exclude the K, it's a detective novel. And so there's this, like, there's paraphrases around the K. I think that's really nice. I'm really excited by this one. It's a bit on the shorter side. It's like under 300 pages, so that's really nice. I'm really sorry that my rant took over so many minutes of the video, but it was very important to me. Okay, another wrapped book. By the way, all of these have had stickers on them that just say thank you in various cat faces, and I think that is the most adorable thing ever. I also know that there's some goodies down there, but I can't reach them right now because, again, I think I opened it wrong. But that's okay. Ooh, okay, alright, so this is a another bookmark. It's another duplicate, but we love bookmarks. I can just give these to other people too. So this is a short story collection. This is called Urban Fantasy Going Mental. I think there's 4 different urban fantasy going something, and I believe that all of them are at the very least edited by Ashken Hayadogan, and then there's some second collaborator there. And this particular collection is about urban fantasy short stories, about mental disabilities, about neurodivergence. Usually it means that these are own voices. The authors are usually all in some capacity neurodivergent, in whichever way they might be. I have read urban fantasy going intersectional, and I think there's also urban fantasy going queer. I don't remember if I have that one. I think I do. And the 4th one that I'm still missing that I'm debating getting with another budget month situation is urban fantasy going fat, with featuring mainly fat characters, which I am also very excited about. I think the design of this one is particularly cool. It's like a bunch of different neuro connections here, stuff like that. I'm excited for this one. As per usual with short story collections, they might be a hit, they might be a miss, we will never know unless we read them, but I also really like it in, like, to discover new authors. There's some people on here that I've read something by, and some people I know personally, so overall, I'm really excited. Alright, so I think we have 3 more, if my memory does not deceive me. Okay, this time we have a black little cat. Look at the kitty cat. Alright. Ooh, this one's a bit bendier than the others, I feel like. Ooh, nice. I think this is the 2nd and last short story collection I have. Another bookmark. This is so cute. This is Facetten der Zukunft, science fiction made in Austria. Facets of the future, so to speak. This is a science fiction short story collection. And I believe this is all about the theme of what could the future bring, what could the future look like, how could we define what the future does. I think most of these are going to lean less cyberpunk and more solar punk, so a lot more hopeful in their outcome. But we will never know. I will never know until I try. Let me see if there's any authors that I recognize. 1, 2. There's 2 I recognize, one of which I've read a book by, and the other one I think is either in another collection or even one of the other books I got. So I'm super excited. There's going to be a bunch of new authors here. I just think the cover looks so cool. It's one of the reasons I wanted to have it. Look at that. Stunning. Like I said, anyone who speaks German, get on this. I'm going to link them down below in the description. Alright, so this is the last one. Oh, big. Big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Am I missing one? Am I stupid? I might be. It's fine, I'll figure it out. Anyway, so, let me just remove that. So like I said, there's a couple of goodies. There's some tea and some sweets, which I think is really nice. I'm just going to put those here because otherwise they will fall to the ground and I will never see them again. Alright, so this last one is a little kitty sleeping in a little burrito. Kitty burrito. Come on. Oh my god, she's huge. Holy shit. Okay, so this is the one that kind of sparked all of this because I've wanted to have this ever since it came out last year in October, I think. This is Liminal Creatures. Finally, I don't have to translate it, by Eva Moore. I think the cover is one of the prettiest I've ever seen. Look at that gay ass. Can you see that properly? It's colorful, is what I'm saying. Anyway, huge, massive. Holy shit, we're close to 500 pages. Hell yeah, brother. I don't know anything about this one, but it is it is so gorgeous. Ooh, oh my goodness. Oh my god, look! It's like one of those thingies that you can put onto your clothing, but it's like a music note, because I think this is about music, or there's playing music or whatever. Another bookmark. Hell yeah. But yes, this is about music, in case you couldn't tell, because he's holding a rad-ass guitar right here. But there's also demons, I think. I believe this is also more urban fantasy than, like, high fantasy, for example. But I am really excited to get into this. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Ah, I love it. Okay, so this was the last one that came in the pack. I thought I had 7. I'm gonna check really quickly and see if, like, anything happened, if there's one still stuck in transit, or if they just couldn't get that one to me or something. So give me a hot second. I'll figure this out, but I am very excited for all of my babies. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, there's one that's missing. Let me see if that, like, if they got me a mail or something. Anyway, I'll figure that one out. For now, let me just oh my god, let me hold these into the camera. I am so excited to get to these in a hot minute. I don't know how many I will be reading in the coming days, because I am going to be stuck writing like 2.5 papers. One of them is just an essay. So we don't care about that one. I can do that one in like a day or something, once I have a topic. Anyway, I don't know how fast I will be reading these. I don't know how fast I will be getting to them, but I do want to try and prioritize some of these. And I haven't bought, like, the entirety of their catalog yet. So, depending on how this goes, I will just continuously buy more of their catalog until they run out of books I haven't read yet, or until I run out of money, or until they just don't have the books in stock anymore that I would like to have. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with these books. For anyone who is interested in buying some and goes to the website and sees that unfortunately there's nothing else available anymore, I don't know what's going to happen with these books. I don't know if they're going to get picked up by another publisher, or if you will be able to continuously get them as ebooks from other ventures and venues. I don't know if they will be reprinted under a different publisher. I'm not sure if the publishers know. Should they know, they will probably put it on some sort of blog post. Like I said, I will be linking the shop and everything in the description down below, so you can go follow them on social media. You can check out the shop if you want to. You can give them support and love, which, you know, it might be coming a bit late, but better late than never, am I right? And I think the team of this really small publisher that has held itself for over 10 years at this point, I think they deserve some love just for the fact that they've made it this far. So, with that being said, I will be checking on the last book that I'm technically still missing. Until then, I have this lovely stack of 6 books, which is in fact setting me back massively for the bot versus read thing for January, but that's okay, because February is not gonna look nearly as bad. Anyway, I hope I wasn't too angry in my rant. I get mad about this every once in a while. But if I was, and you are German speaking and you would like to make a difference, try to shop small. Try to shop from small publishers, from indie publishers. Try to buy... I know that sometimes it can feel cringe to read your own language. I understand this. I fully do. Sometimes you're just sitting there and going, well, I don't want to, quite frankly, and that's okay. But this is the only way that these authors can be supported, because their books are not going to be picked up by anyone else. Their books are not going to be translated into English, and depending on how small the publisher and the author are, they are not going to be translated, period. So this is the only way that you can do anything. This is the only way that we can make sure that German-speaking authors do in fact also get their books published. And I know it sucks, and I know that it's the system mainly and not the singular person, because one person cannot keep a publisher afloat. That's just a fact. But unfortunately we live in the system, so here's a stack of hopeful recommendations. I will be going through them one by one. I think I want to try and make dedicated videos to them. I know that that might seem a bit counterproductive to some people because I do these videos in English. I'm not going to switch to German to do them. And I know that a couple of friends who watch me only speak English, or at the very least don't speak German, so, you know, it might seem counterintuitive to recommend books on a channel where the language in the book does not match the language from the channel, but I don't care. Quite frankly, I wish y'all could be part of this. I do. You won't be, but maybe I'll find some other people who can be part of this and who can support these authors and make sure that they get the love that they deserve. Anyway, with all that being said, I hope that you have a nice reading experience yourself, and that you will continue having a nice reading experience. If you speak German, maybe consider picking something up here as a little present to yourself, and I will see you soon.